Here we have Robo Turtle, a lifelike robotic turtle by Zuru. And this is something quite different. This is actually amphibious. So this little turtle you see at the top here, this green, very realistic looking turtle, will swim and can crawl or walk on land. It's already got 2 batteries in it, so it's ready to play out of the box, and there's 2 spares as well. So what do you get in this great big box set? Because that turtle's not very big. Let's quickly turn the box around so you get a flavour of what's coming. And as you can see, it's got its own pool. So this is a turtle pool, great big turtle pool. Once it's all set up, full of water, it's quite large. And you also get an island, so you get this turtle rock home, let's say. So it's got a kind of cave and a base, and it will scurry off there into the water. Quickly before we get this thing swimming, these are the 4 designs available. This green design that you see, and you're going to see in this video, is a playset exclusive. So you have to buy this box set to get this turtle. There's a really nice brown, bit tortoise styled, but a very nice brown, a rather snazzy blue and snazzy pink, which perhaps aren't as realistic as I've seen in nature programs, but they do say they live in the Pacific Sea. Zuru knows these things. Okay, here is everything out of the box. You get a set of instructions which explains how to assemble the pool. The pool comes in 2 pieces, so you need to unfold this, make the rough shape, and then thread this green pipe tube, which will then be the top and help form the bowl shape. Now the turtle itself is actually held into the packaging by almost invisible elastic bands, so you either need to unhook it very carefully from behind its head and rear legs, or simply snip it and cut that free. Obviously the spare batteries and a rather large cave house. Now this is rather quite nice detail. It's all brown except for the green, and the green's actually kind of like a green flock. It's been very well stuck on, but be a little bit careful with that. Here's the Robo Turtle pool set up, and just a couple of points. Feeding the green pipe into the top of the actual pool, there's a kind of double layer at the top here. There's like a fold. There's a couple of entry points opposite each other, so there are 2 ways in and out. So you've got to loop it around. It's quite difficult. The very first time it's quite difficult. Once you've got either air in it or water, things are slippy sliding, much easier, but you might need some help with that. Now, I was concerned because mine isn't very circular. I've got a kind of twist. So whilst I was feeding the pipe through, I must have done a little twist, and so it's not perfectly circular. I thought I'm going to have to redo that because I didn't think Robo Turtle would be able to navigate a non-circular pool, thinking a little bit like some of the Robo Fish, etc., the way they like to bounce their noses off the sides of a round pool. But fear not, Robo Turtle is rather an awesome swimmer. And let me just drop him in the water. Same idea. You've got copper contacts on the back, and we'll come to that again later, but water activated, i.e. small current goes through the 2 sensors on its back, and the circuit is completed by the water. So there's a very, very minute micro voltage going through between those 2 sensors on its back. Now, the turtle, fantastic swimmer. Okay, it's headbutting the side at the moment, but it's not going to get stuck. I've never managed to trap him yet. So you'll actually watch, if you watch the 2 fins, his right and his left fin, he can use them, control them independently. He's just done left fin, left fin, left fin, and he's turned himself around. So even if he gets a little bit stuck, or seems a little bit stuck, he doesn't get stuck for long. Fantastic swimmer. Now, it's a non-diving turtle, so it will turn around, it will stop, it will pause, it will swim, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, but he's very much about bobbing, keeping his head above the water. He's got 2 cute little eyes, a really nice little cute grin. His head's a little bit rubbery, just like his fins, so you're not going to hear any clattering or banging, very quiet, and the only noise you can really hear, let me be quiet a moment, is its flapping. So you can just hear a little tapping and flapping as the mechanism inside is flapping either both or right or left flippers on the actual turtle itself. So I think it's a really kind of clever little swimming device here, and I think that's a really neat feature. Now obviously it's slightly hindered by the fact that I've got a dent in my pool. Now it's only because I've got the kink, so this very much shapes the pool. So you've got to be a little bit careful. So warning for young children, you really could just push this down and I'd have a big leak and sliding water slide over here, and the turtle will be lost on the floor, and I'd have a very wet table. So you've got to be very careful. There's no flotation offered by the green pipe. The green pipe is very much forming the circle around the pool and the shape of the pool, but it's not a floating side, so it's very much a little bit of care when leaning over. When young children or young adults are leaning into the pool to play with the turtle, you can't press on the sides because the water will come out, or you're at risk of having the water come out. Now the turtle's come over to the side, he's certainly talking about his pool, he loves it, it's shallow, but because he's not a diver it doesn't matter at all, and the fact it's a big area is exactly what he wants. So the rock, obviously I've got the rock in the water, it could be wet or dry, doesn't matter. Now I've got it full, the water in the pool, full just to the top of the large arch on the front there, as it recommends, and that means the air can get out, otherwise this will be floating around. So there's no real weight to this in the water, which is fine. You can obviously move it and position it around. Now what I'm going to do is pick up the turtle, I'm going to let it time out a little bit, and what I mean by that is that it's now out of the water. So when the sensors are uncovered on the back there, it's going to then say, oh, time to go to sleep, you're not playing with me anymore. And I'm going to pop them on, let's put them onto the grassy side of the rock. Now I'm putting him downhill, this is a sloping rock, so they've made his journey into the water slightly easy. You'll need a wet thumb or finger, surprise surprise, there's water nearby, very easy. And if you lightly touch the back of the turtle, that wakes him up and he goes, oh, time to slide into my rock now. Okay, he's in a right flipper only mode. Now that's not the best walking mode for him to do because his left flipper's not moving anything at the moment. But absolutely, so let me just wake him. Okay, I think, oh, one last twitch. No, he's definitely not going to, he's not going to do a full flap. He needs to use both flippers. Okay, he did it with just one flipper. His other one seemed to be a little bit stuck on the flock. So maybe it was either a bit of left hand, right hand, not sure which. Possibly the flock aggravated it a little bit. Let's just, again, let him go to sleep. Let's pop him on the rock again. And again, wet my thumb. Not that it's not dry, but you know what, not that it's dry, but you know what I mean. Give him a fair chance, and there he goes, sliding and scuttling off his rock and into the water. So he's really quite likes sliding off his rock. So there's only really a few angles you can do because it is angled, let's say, towards the camera as it is at the moment. So again, he's gone to sleep. Let's activate him, and off he goes. So certainly not a great land-based creature, but certainly you get the idea. And I'm going to try in other videos to have this slightly less sloped, and I'm going to have a little bit of a challenge and see how he fares with more of a horizontal platform than this dedicated rock, because maybe I can make it a little bit more of a fun pool for him to be swimming around in, and you know, if maybe he needs some company. So, you know, I can get one or more turtles in here, plenty of room. You only need one pool. I can see there being room for there's at least room for 4 turtles, if not duplicates of each colour, each style that there is available. But it is this swimming that I love the best. It can't get stuck, it can't get trapped. And he's off going around the pool himself now into my dented corner, as I'm now going to call it. So where he would normally just scoot around, he had it perfectly round. He's now a little bit stuck, but because he's a clever little swimmer, he gets around it. Now he might turn back again, so I like that so much. Yep, his right flipper only is going back again. So he's a little bit camera shy, this particular turtle. Nope, he's heard me, he's getting brave. And he's decided he wants to just look at his picture sake in the box on the side there. So no matter what you do with the pool, it's very, very good. One other little tip about Robo Turtle. After 4 minutes of play, it will go to sleep. So there's a battery save mode, let's call it. Because it floats, it's buoyant, no issues, it's going to stay on the water. But what you then need to do to wake him up again is actually remove him from all the water before you then put him back in again. So he actually needs to be out the water to reset its timer, and then you can pop him back in again and he'll carry on swimming. So it's about 4 minutes, maybe just a little bit less, a little bit more. It's not an accurate timer after all. And you can't wake him up by tapping. So the Hexbug Aquabot 2 Smartfish technology is all about tapping them, etc., to wake them up. You can't do that with the Robofish. Robofish got a hard shell after all, so you need to take him out of the water, put him back on his rock or wherever you want to leave him when you're not playing with him in the water, and that's fantastic. Couple of other points. This pool, because it is soft, a little bit difficult to empty the water, so filling it and emptying it, you need a small bucket or cups or mugs or a small saucepan. Do use the warm water. That tip that they gave you, that they give on the packaging, is very good, so it takes out some of the creases and folds, and before long it's glassy smooth and you really can see nothing but, well, my tablecloth through the bottom. So you get rid of all the creases and folds, because initially you think, oh my goodness, I've got a folded clear bag here, how am I going to see Robo Turtle swimming around doing all its things if I've got all these folds in place? Slightly warm water, not hot, really does eliminate that completely. I'm going to just bring around the front. So you can't really have him going into the rock. So that's the only thing I would say. So although you've got a kind of cave complex, because he doesn't dive, and also if you look there, the width of his fins, there we go, I've deliberately done that, I've got his head stuck. And, you know, he doesn't really want to do that. So he might go exploring. Again, it all depends on the height. You've got your rock, the level of water and your rock. But there's a few places he can stick his head and have a look. I like this little one because there's no way he gets trapped in that one. So there's a few things that I've seen him do that I've just forced him into just so you got to see it on camera. That's really quite cute. He might come back into himself. That'd be great if he does. No, he's decided no, nearly. This guy's not really as obedient as I'd like him. He needs a lot more house training, but he's certainly having a whale of a time spinning and flipping around. Now he's managed to get himself one of his flippers into the one of the cave window holes. And of course, to get out, he's not stupid. He knew he had to use his other flipper to get himself free. So it's very, very clever. So although he's bumping around and I've put in probably the most awkward part of the rock, he's not going to get trapped, he's not going to get stuck, and he's just showing you now he's done a full 360, a full turnaround, 180 degrees, just to say, I've had enough of that area now, I'm going to go and explore. Now, just on cue, he stopped swimming because he's had his 4 minutes in the water play, so he's not going to do anything now. I'm going to just lift him out, reset his timer, pop him back in again, and he's swimming in. So there we go, there's all the features of Robo Turtle. Really great little cute guy. I think I need some more of these in here. I think he's a little bit lonely, but for now I think a friendly little seahorse from Hexbug, one of the Aquabot seahorses, will do to keep him company, and they'll meet behind the rock as I say thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment.